Hello, this is Crypto Neptune, and in today's video, we're going to talk about this could be big, and does Telcoin have the potential to unlock Telcom billions? And the reason why this conversation is coming up is as we had a nice conversation yesterday on X, and I posed some questions about the Telcoin network and kind of how all that works, and it raised a few eyebrows, so we're going to break it down in this video. And remember, guys, nothing I say is financial advice. So the current price on the day is 0.0032, and we're down 0.70%. So a little bit of a pullback, and we are ranked 241st. And I've said time and time again, I feel that this is a top 100 project. It's just a matter of the stars aligning with the Telcoin network, getting that to full scale, getting the digital asset bank launch. Once we get some of these tangible announcements, then that's where we could see the FOMO starting to kick in and people wanting to get in. But Telcoin at its current price is on a discount. But getting over to kind of the concept of this video, and could Telcoin unlock Telcom billions? So I said TEL fam, it's my understanding that MNOs would have to buy 1 million TEL minimum to be a validator on the Telcoin network, correct? Any other requirements for other business models, the game company, or industries that would like to set up on the Telcoin network. So it's not just going to be mobile network operators. There are going to be other business models or merchants through GSMA who can participate on the Telcoin network. So Mike says $1 million or a million tail? And I said, great question. I thought it was 1 million tail. If it's $1 million worth, that would be bullish. Yep. And then Matthew, he kind of talks about the whole concept of the digital cash. And I understand liquidity has to be paired with tail, 13 tokens, and growing all paired, absorbing significant amounts of tail. Yeah, so that's going to have a significant impact on Telcoin's price, being that this is going to be all on the Telcoin network and the stable coins kind of and digital cash kind of doing their thing. Yeah, but I said digital cash will have an impact. 1 million TEL is $3,200. And I said, considering we have large MNOs and businesses as well as small community banks or sole proprietors, I'm okay with this. And that's the whole thing. Telcoin is an inclusive network. So, meaning it's all about banking the unbanked. They've already kind of had that message. So, imagine having large MNOs being able to purchase however many TEL they want, as well as maybe some businesses that don't have as much cash and investment dollars, like community banks or sole proprietors. They're going to invest what they can, but it'll allow them to be able to advance to the future. And then BZ says 1 million is the minimum. Validators will be highly incentivized to stake as much as possible to earn validator kickbacks. Yeah, so the more that they buy and stake, the more of a kickback they'll get. And then Kevin goes on to say, do we know if MNOs have purchased their tail yet or are waiting till we go live? And I said, I know they're in testing. I'm not sure if they're using like test tokens or they actually went and market bought some tail, because we know some MNOs are out there already tested the network, but I don't know kind of how that's set up. But that's a great question by Kevin. And then BZ said that's node validators. Developers are able to participate in rewards in the same way. Pro rates shared based on their amount of tail staked versus other developers. Yeah, so if you want to develop your own app connected to the Telcoin network and then have your subscribers connect to you, then you're going to get more and more of a kickback. So that's kind of cool how it's set up. And then Bullish Pure Blood says only 1 million. And I say, feel free to correct me. That's why we're having this conversation. And it's nice to have a conversation where, it's not a heated conversation. The community is just gathering information and we're just casually talking about it. But I put it out in this open forum so people can engage in conversation. And it says 1 million is shameful low amount. And I said, I feel like they will most likely load up more. And then ACLC pretty much writes 1 million is nothing. They had better be buying much more than that. And I said, fair point. I mean, it wouldn't make sense to have a maximum requirement, should be able to buy however much they like. Right? And then Jimmy says, I have 20x that in a mobile. Where do I sign? And then I put this little comment here, sign here. Yeah, we got you. We got you covered, buddy. Just go ahead and sign here, and we're good to go. And then Business Tactical says $3,200 seems pretty cheap. So, that's pretty cool. Again, a nice conversation here by everybody. And then Matthew, again, like we talked about before, he went into like the digital cash conversation, the impact that I have on the whole network. And let's see, tons of apps paired to liquidity pools, all locking up TEL. I remember talk of lending and all kind of swaps. Yeah, so that's going to be in play too with lending and stuff like that. So it's going to be a whole huge network and a lot that can be done. And he just kind of looking at these pairs, and then he's talking about the USDC and E-Mexican pair. And there's a huge remittance corridor in Mexico, so this volume will definitely kick up. But again, getting back to the premise of this, and I sit up there and ask, okay, GSMA, how many mobile network operators are there? And there's 750 full members, and then there's 400 additional associate members. But here's the cool thing. I said, give me the top 50 GSMA mobile operators with user totals and value. Keep each one brief, short, and to the point. So he gave me this breakdown. And China Mobile has over, I believe this would be over 1 billion. Yeah, it says in a million. So if we're moving decimals, that would be 1 billion subscribers. And a total market cap of 222 billion. Right? And Berti, I believe I'm saying that right. Barty, maybe I'm saying that wrong. I don't know. 600 million, $66 billion market cap. Reliance, 506 million, 29 billion. Again, look at the impact of China. China Telecom, China Unicom, 423 and 345 respectively. 33 billion market cap and 22 billion market cap. And then Vodafone Group, 310 million and a 26 billion market cap. We got Orange. We have Telefonica, 270 million and then 27 billion evaluation. So, and then Verizon, 146 million users and then $182 billion market cap. AT&T's on here. Right? So you get the point of where I'm getting at. T-Mobile is at down at the bottom, 115 million users, but a $308 billion market cap, which is massive. So this is the potential of what Telcoin could tap into. So imagine even a couple of these large mobile network operators, and let's say they say, hey, we got the cash, we want to invest buy $1 million worth of Telcoin. They very much well could do that if they want to advance to the future and be on blockchain technology. And so this whole list of users here, like all these guys, would have the potential to, let's see, can we find Verizon on here? Yep, there's Verizon, and then was it T-Mobile we were looking at? T-Mobile, which was that? Let's see if we can scroll down. Yeah, T-Mobile. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. But and also too, you have to look at how Telcoin also wrote the stablecoin digital cash bill within here. I'm not sure where it's located, but they kind of wrote it in here for GSMA. So they ended up writing it in here, and but just by doing that, that's just going to open up more and more opportunities, and Telcoin is going to be the go-to for GSMA members. So it's kind of like already game set match, right? So we'll see how this goes. The holders have gradually gone up again. Full transparency. Right now, we look at Telcoin's current price. We understand that the market cap is 308 million, which you have an upside to go back over that $1 billion market cap, which we did earlier. Yeah, back in February, we got over a penny, but the potential is there. But it's just a matter of executing on the project. Once you execute on the project and you have the digital asset bank, you have the Telcoin network running on full scale with the access to a lot of these heavy hitters and telecoms that want to be a part and they want to advance to the future, and it's just kind of like a simple plug and play, then it's essentially game over. So that could potentially be where the volume is at. And again, full transparency, 1.1 million in trading volume over the last 24 hours. Do we want to see significantly more? Absolutely. We want to see that volume getting back over to 30 million and then gradually advancing up to 50 million, over 100 million in the 24-hour period, and so on and so forth. And what would be the recipe to do that is executing on tangible things, getting the news out, and then kind of that full scale of getting that word out to everybody. But again, guys, look at the potential of what's there. Nobody else is doing what Telcoin is doing, far as with the Telcoin network, linking mobile network operators on that piece of it, a full blockchain on the Telcoin network for specifically for mobile network operators as well as merchants, and then the whole aspect of a whole digital bank, which you have digital cash and then potentially banking services in the future. So undervalued, sure, yeah, undervalued at the current price. So I'd rather, I'm using risk capital. I would rather put my financial resources in something undervalued and I can see the vision and see what happens. Like when you're using risk capital, you don't necessarily worry about it. Like I honestly do not worry about it because I am using risk capital. I have not like put myself in a bad financial position. I have invested a nice bag, but I want to see this through. For me personally, I want to see this through and see what this does. So this is some pretty cool stuff here, and I want to thank you for listening to this video, and thanks for stopping by.